So as I said, this is game number 2 of a best of 5. Merry-go-round is going to be the map, and to the top left-hand position, we've got the green Terran player representing Vortex. It is Hantypen. And his opponent down to the south, the blue Protoss, also playing for Vortex, 1-0 up in this best of 5. It is Askaria. Askaria versus Hantypen game 1 was intense. We saw Hantypen go for a quick concussive shell Marauder Marine push across the map. It did a bit of damage, able to take out a Stalker and a Zealot, but not much more. However, Askaria went for a proxy Stargate, got some Oracles down, got 3 gateways behind it. The Oracles didn't do that much damage, but it was the Stalkers following it up that were just devastating. Took out so many SCVs, able to deal with the small group of infantry, and Askaria managing just to sneak on by with that 1-game win. Of course, this is a best of 5 though, and best of 5s mean that you can lose that first game and still actually be sitting in a fairly comfortable position. You don't have to be panicking too much. You don't have to be sitting there going, I've got to win right now. Still got that margin of error, although without a doubt, Hantypen is going to be wanting to level out this series, give himself a bit more breathing room, as opposed to be putting on match point. Askaria, if of course he can take this game, would mean the match point would be on the cards, and a 3-0 victory of course is a very confident footing to move on up into that finals. So, a pro busy wandering up, gonna get that first scout, and getting the first scout down is never, ever a big problem. It's just a nice thing to do. If you do get the scout down first, you're going to be pretty happy with it, to be honest, because you know what your opponent's up to. You get to see things like how many gases have they got, when was that gas taken, is there a Reaper coming out. It's just the same build as game number 1. And for Askaria, it's not actually the same build as game number 1. We've actually got the 2 gases, but only 4 probes in each at the moment. So slightly more gas heavy, although not a complete commitment to the 6 probes in gas immediately. Scout coming down though, now for Hantypen, hasn't seen anything yet, so just going to want to come up and check this. What would be quite interesting to see 2 additional probes put in here, even if it was just while the scout was down, because that potentially could throw off the Terran player into thinking, okay, this is a very, very tech-heavy opening. May even do that at the moment. It depends whether or not Hantypen was able to instantly see if or when or how many probes there are there. He didn't actually scout the second gas, so that's a small problem there. Not knowing about that second gas, potentially going to cause a bit of a problem. May not be able to anticipate just how much pressure is coming on through. But Hantypen, liking this early concussive shell Marauder opening, going to be going for it again this game. Also got an SCV, just chilling around, waiting outside the natural base. Wants to see if an expansion is going to be on the cards or not. Meanwhile, from Askaria, just the probe waiting in the middle by the watchtower. Could be looking for another proxy pylon. Could be looking for some more tech. Still just chilling on 4 probes in gas rather than the 6. So not a massive commitment for the moment. Going to be going for an expansion. Okay, so this is a bit more of an advantageous position for Hantypen than in the last game. Because the expansion's coming down, that's going to make it a lot harder to defend. The construction of additional gateway units is not going to be on the cards. There's only at the moment 1 Stalker. Wow, okay, so very little there. Concussive Shell is finished, so this Stalker is definitely going to die, but it's also going to reveal the Concussive Shell is finished. Second Marauder also coming on through. The Mothership Core may get taken down, and that does now die. That is a catastrophic loss, because the fact that the Marauder is dead simply means... the Mothership Core is dead means that there cannot be a Photon Overcharge here at the natural base, and that is a tool that every single Protoss player is incredibly reliant on to avoid early poking and prodding from a Terran. Already we see now Hantypen moving across the map, this time with an additional Marauder compared to what we saw last game. He's also taking this natural base, and he is looking to be in a very strong position. Moving across, is there much to stand in its way? Well, there's a sentry coming down. That's going to buy some time. It's going to allow this ram to get force fielded off. The Mothership Core has been remade, but it's still a good 45 energy off being able to Photon Overcharge. The Marauders, the Marines, stumbling across the map. This ramp is going to be a very, very important position to move up through. The Nexus, of course, looking quite vulnerable. The Sentry is the big target. Not going to be able to grab that. Of course, the force field should be coming down momentarily, and Hantypen knows that that was always going to be an option. Doesn't move up the ramp. Instead, just going for the guaranteed damage, taking down a probe. Also, looking to try and get this Nexus. The Sentry coming down, and the Sentry will go And that means that there is no force field for the ramp. That means no way to block that ramp off, preventing these units from moving up. Down goes the Stalker. The Mothership Core is still alive, but the damage done here is very, very nice. 925 resources lost by the blue Protoss player to only 200 lost by the green Terran. So, if we look at the overall supplies, Askaria down at the moment. The work count is also in favor of Hantypen. Hantypen can't actually see this Warp Prism because it's up on the high ground. So this could catch a little bit of an element of surprise for Askaria, who, remember, is 1-0 up in this best of 5 at the moment. Still waiting to see if, where, when we get any further movement through, but it's just going to be this Warp Prism drop. The drop is going to come in the main base, trying to force field off this ramp, prevent any units getting up to reinforce. The sentries coming on down, and there goes the force field. 4 sentries are able to indefinitely hold that ramp, although these 3, because they've got a bit of energy banked up already, should be able to hold it for a while themselves. Another force field coming on through. The Stalkers just in range of some of those Marauders. Don't need to be careful, especially the sentries need to back on down. Another force field going to be used. The damage is still coming on through. Next wave of Warpins should be coming in imminently. We need to see another sentry. 2 Stalkers die, and these Marauders just outranging them, able to get the damage on through, and this drop not going to be able to achieve much damage. Just 2 SCVs get killed in exchange for an awful lot of Stalkers. 6 Stalkers, 4 sentries have died this game. Heavy gas losses over on the Protoss side. But it's not all over yet. The push coming through from Hantypen is not supported by medevacs. The starport only just now in production, but it is still a very scary push. Concussive Shell is finished. Stim is finished. And even though the Stim will damage his own units without the medevacs to heal them up, it's still going to be a big damage boost. So getting a solid little Stim down could be very, very important. Little move up now. The infantry preparing to engage. The Photon Overcharge, I believe, is a possibility. The Mothership Core, though, out of position to be able to do that. The Zealots taking a lot of damage. You've got a couple more Stalkers warping in, but not going to last long. The Pylon will get taken down. The Photon Overcharge triggered at the natural base, but this infantry may just decide to run away from it. Up into the main base. Another Stim used. This infantry very heavily damaged. Unfortunately, the Mothership Core does not have enough energy to go for another Photon Overcharge yet. Still needs another 6 energy on it. But before that, the robotics facility is going to get taken down. That in itself is an annoying loss, prevents any Colossus production. And now Photon Overcharge is available, but the damage has already been done. So many units killed here, and that key tech structure, the robotics facility, dies. Hantypen behind this is down a little bit in the worker count overall. There's 42 probes compared to 39 SCVs, but with the muling coming down consistently from Hantypen, and with this 3rd orbital command about to go and take the 3rd base, we've got Hantypen in a very strong economic position. If we look at his income, he's mining a lot more minerals, down a bit on gas, although as a Terran player, he shouldn't be too concerned about that at the moment, especially with this heavy biocomposition that he is utilizing. So Askaria, definitely in a bit of a rough spot at the moment, specifically losing that robotics facility. That's incredibly painful, really limiting the number of options available to Askaria. And now that the medevacs are out as well, moving across the map, this infantry is going to be just so much more potent against gateway-only units, and that's why the Colossus is needed. Unfortunately for Askaria, Hantypen is already moving across the map with a sizable force, reinforcing with more units across the map as well. He's up 51 to 26 supply, will take down another pylon, going to be gunning for that natural base. There's not enough energy on the Mothership Core for another Photon Overcharge, so this natural nexus almost certain to fall here. That's going to put Hantypen up by 2 bases. An incredibly strong footing in this game, and the infantry still alive, able to start working away at a lot of these poor defenseless probes. Counterattacks are still coming through though. A couple of Zealots are getting a bit of damage down. They were dropped by this Warp Prism, but with the Colossus now falling, the worker kill count is pretty level. The upgrades just kicking in a fraction sooner for Hantypen could be all that's needed to turn the tide. Overall supplies massively now in favor of Hantypen, who looks secure to take game number 2 of this best of 5, leveling out the series to be 1-1.